Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cosmic Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and tonight we are going to be speaking with Noelle Hipke about mastering the games on planet Earth and becoming 12D multidimensional. So I can't wait to do that. But before we do, if you have not already signed up to be on our mailing list, please do so at theconsciousawakeningnetwork.org. And be sure to download our free phone app. Or you can go and download our free app on Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, or Android TV. And be sure to listen to us on your favorite audio stations such as Spotify, Google, iHeart, and more. Now, let's jump right back in with Noelle because she is an award-winning, best-selling author. She is an ascension visionary, teaching humans how to morph from the 3D dimensional world into the 5D dimensional world and beyond. Now, her soul timeline mission on this planet has been an accumulation of knowledge, experience, and research of several lifetimes in order to connect the dots and teach the new earth. So welcome, 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 Nicole. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Sheila. This is exciting because I've been watching your channel too for quite some time, seeing other people that I've crossed paths with at, different locations, Conscious Life Expo, ran into you there, seen what you've been
Oh,
doing over the years. And it's pretty exciting to be here with you, sharing more knowledge to your
yay.
audience.
Well, I can't wait. And I do have one question I want to start off. As I was looking at all the magic that you've got going on in your life, I'm just kind of wondering, what do you consider to be like the most critical game or challenge that souls are facing as they incarnate onto the earth? And do you have any like advice or suggestions on how to best navigate that? Because seems like you've got a lot of mastery in that area. So I'm really curious to hear what you have to share.
Oh, thank you. I actually would tell people to trust yourself and follow your highest self. Once you make that direct connection, it's really your master of this game, Earth Games, and it's going to always lead you the right direction. There's so many times that we don't listen to our gut. Our instincts are there for a reason. We have animalistic instincts because we as humans are part of the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
So when we tap into that and connect ourselves like integrate it so tightly, you're able now to manifest at a faster capability because you are working in unison with your soul. And so we're going to find in Earth Games, people are always there trying to deviate us or knock us off our path or change our trajectory. We're facing it all the time, every day through friendships, families, relationship, work environments, school environments. There's so many games being played on multiple levels, and it's each one of us needs to decide what is right for us. There's so many messages coming at us, and really it's putting your data together and lighting up the codes for your path and following, almost like dancing on, on the lights is how I feel it. You move through it. And sometimes it hurts or you want to, curl up, but it's also just healing through that part because when what we're doing right now, the work is healing so many timelines of ancestors. I've done a lot of work on that, and I'm realizing my ancestors on the other side said, You were the chosen, your children, your family was chosen to do this work. You came here knowing to do this work. So as I go through steps and phases, I remind myself that, okay, this is part of the game. This is what I'm supposed to learn. What is the lesson? What is the karmic pattern? How do I alter it? And and then I can sit back and relax. Okay, how do I outmaneuver this? Right? So there's so many beautiful things happening right now. I know there's a lot of light and dark playing together. So helping yourself is really where we need to focus on, is focus doing the internal work, focusing within and not on external.
Absolutely. And so now, when you talk about these games, these earthly games, are there any like particular signs that people need to follow, or are there like synchronicities that someone on their path to mastery might be able to recognize?
Well, we're actually taught games throughout our lifetime. And it's given in video games, it's given in board games, card games. A lot of the games we're learning memory. We're learning how to actually remote view through the games. We're practicing telepathy. This is where our superpowers are kind of tying in. We don't even realize it, but as kids, we are training ourselves to be a future higher version of ourselves. I'm getting the chills all over as I'm saying this. So I sit down with my kids and I taught them chess and I taught them blackjack and I taught them, poker because it's like Yahtzee and it's strategy. It is numbers. It is sequences, patterns. So that's how we're able to start to recognize and connect a lot of the dots through multi dimensions. In 3D, you're only seeing part of the picture. When you move into 4D, 5D, and beyond, that's when the holographic field gets dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you can get multiple perspectives. So society has had a long run of a 3D dimension where people couldn't understand somebody else's capabilities or their mindset. So say we're in a circle and we all witness the same event happening in the center of the room. Not everyone experiences it or sees it the same. Everyone's perspectives are different. So it's being able to go and move into all the different perspectives, even above the room. When you go above the room and look down, you have a totally different perspective than if you're standing eye to eye. So that's what it is about being multidimensional, is not just thinking there's one way to solve a problem or look at something.
Awesome. Now, you were talking about playing games with your kids to kind of move them into that strategic thinking. Do you have any suggestions or any specific practices or mindsets that you have come across that you think can help us to maneuver like some of the more difficult games or lessons in our journey?
You know, So I've tied to mathematics pretty heavily. I'm able to do math in my head because I'm ambidextrous. So I'm using both sides of my brain. So in
Mhm.
order to really tap into these higher dimensions and realms, you need to start using the brain side that you normally don't use. Most people are right-handed, and even if you're left-handed, you're forced to be right-handed. So we're using mostly a dominant side of the brain. But when you tap into using the opposite hand, it moves into different more of a holistic approach starts to appear, more creativity, more productive. It moves into so many more new realms that people haven't normally tapped into. So
Mm.
that's more superpowers coming out. I mean, I have an entire chapter on our superpowers because there's the superheroes in the comics they say are, fake. They're actually not. We are them. We have all these capabilities that those superheroes have, and it's coming to the surface once you start tapping into all parts of the brain. It requires detoxing your body, eliminating everything that isn't powerful for you. Because when you're at a low vibration, you can't tap in. It takes a lot of energy and a frequency to get into these capabilities.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned a chapter in your book. Can you tell people about your book?
So my second book is called Earth Games: Playbook, Rules, and Regulations. And every time I've written, I have these channelings that come through. It it's almost like I move into a certain state and then this download of information came in. There's literally a chapter in the book called Playbook. And I sat down and I read light codes. I believe I'm tapping into the Akashic records, which I actually call the universal records because to me it's the universe projecting that information out. I'm tapping into the infinite intelligence. So I remember I feel like I'm reading it through my mind's eye, and I'm typing it as I'm reading it. And it was funny at the very end of the chapter, I wrote download complete. And it was just kind of a funny thought to me because I was like, whoa. It was like I was told, you're done. That's it. That's exactly what it is. And it's funny because I tapped a few and so this is what my book looks like. Um and it's multidimensional on the cover. It's basically nature because nature is our direct connect to the divine. And it's portal after portal traveling through portals. And I have sacred geometry on here, and I'm actually Athena on the cover because I tap into Athena through my poetry in the book. So she's holding I'm holding the book of knowledge on my shield. And then an owl stands for wisdom. And then actually I twirl a baton. And so I'm holding the baton, and it's kind of like my wand or my scepter of knowledge that I use to kind of move the energy and pull the data down, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
I'm working with a lot of different species all over the universe. I've realized, and this didn't come until more recently, that they were kind of sharing that, hey, Noelle, this isn't just for one, this is all the species sharing their knowledge and information out to everyone. So we can combine it together. And this is the message we originally intended for humanity to
Mm,
partake in.
that is so
So
cool. You know, a lot of people believe, let's see, it's Patricia Walls was talking one night about the fact that when all of the people were able to speak one language before the Tower of Babel, that we would even be able to communicate with the animals. And wouldn't that be cool today if we went back to that telepathic communication? Because look how much more balanced. I mean, you're sitting here talking about this plethora of information that's out there, but not everybody's tapping into it. So I think that's so cool that you're writing about that.
thank you. Thank you. It's been my ascension journey. Both my books are. And I've known 30 years ago I was supposed to write books, believe it or not. And it was like I got struck by lightning. Like, this is the time you're supposed to write the books. Here it is. And I would get up to write, and I would go into a state, and then I would be directed, this is what you look up, this is what you write about. And I would write a chapter, and then I would go into my living room, and my third eye would open, and I would speak to people about it. And sometimes I'd read the chapter, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that was so good. I can't believe I wrote that.
I love when that happens.
Yeah. So I know it wasn't just me. I was literally being guided with
Yeah.
information. Hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So now what's your favorite part of the book?
Oh, there's a lot actually, because both my books are about 400 pages. My first book, just so you all know, it's called Superpowers: A Journey to Self-Help. It always like looks funny on the light, but yeah. So that one, I had children come and tell me what to name it. They came in my dreams and yelled Superpowers. So this is how I'm working with through dreams, visions. It's funny you said that about animals, because I sometimes tease I'm like Snow White, because I will go into nature and the bird will come and sit right by me and start speaking. And I'm like, what are you saying today? What's your message? And then I'll just sit and listen. Because it's literally coded information. It's a telepathic, and it's codes that activate our cells in different components. I call it dial perception, I was told, was when we can actually hear like miles away. We have the capabilities like animals to hear miles away, but we have diminished this and haven't focused on it because we're so busy being in devices. We're not paying attention to using our instincts. So once we go into our instincts, I'm getting the chills again. Once we get into the instincts, that's when it becomes telepathic with animals and nature and each other and
Mm.
other species.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, I have a couple other questions, I hope you don't mind, that I'd like to ask. And so, in the title, we're talking about becoming 12D multidimensional. And for people that's watching, can you really explain a little bit more about what does it mean to be 12D multidimensional, and how does somebody go about, stepping into that process of expanding their consciousness to that level?
Well, first of all, you're going to have to relax a bit. It's not something you try and do. It's a release. It's a letting go. It's a surrender. And a lot of us want to resist some things that feel uncomfortable. And I find you go out in nature, you get in the sun. As you might all know, vitamin D is from God, basically. It's our main component that opens up the third eye, which I call the invisible information station, because a lot of data comes in through that. And so once you start opening and becoming a receiver of light, information, and codes, that's when your expanded capabilities start to appear. there's these books talk about things. I still reread them and go, wow, that's good. I forgot about that, because there are so much information. So I'm just going to share a couple things. I go into also poetry. I have this feeling that comes over me. It usually will happen sometimes in the morning when you have a clean slate of a brain after you've like reset your body and your mindset. My body will start to tell me, get a notepad. It's time to write. And sometimes just with a pen to paper, the old fashioned way, I'll start writing and then it just flows and flows. And sometimes I've had it go for days. I have
Mm.
several poems in here that are rhyming poems. And if I read them, they would go for 10 minutes or more. And they would rhyme from the beginning to the end. And it's basically my book wrapped up in a book and a poem.
Wow.
So people tease are like, this is a Dr. Seuss book. And so I could read one of them tonight. I plan to read one
That'd
tonight.
be great.
Yeah. So actually the higher dimensional levels, I think I kind of went through my book tonight to decide what to share.
Mm.
I always like meditate about what they want me to share. And this was one of the topics. So they wanted me to share sixth sense expansion. This is when your pineal gland is in top operation, decalcified, enabling one to see beyond the visible spectrum. Then you're going to move into seventh sense, which is telepathy, and it's connected to extraterrestrials, mind control, and game playing. There's now the eighth sense, which is transmutation, and that is the ability to oscillate between higher self and your shape shifting, and your facial features will change. I don't know about you all, but there's times I feel like I look different on certain days, and that's when my frequency is being altered. I basically alter my frequency to go into higher and different dimensions to get the information, which you all can do. We all have these capabilities. And that's what I'm here to share. It's not just my specialty, it's all of ours. And the ninth sense is projection of consciousness. Intuitive healers working with the Stargate project, they control projection and remote viewing. Your 10th sense is transfiguration. It's done naturally when a human sleeps and can leave you feeling a bit tired after a dream. And you go into multiple holographic field locations. So I've actually gone to other planets in my dreams, and I talk about that in the book and things I've seen and what I've experienced. Your 11th sense is materialize to dematerialize, and it's the process of converting your physical shares and securities into digital and electronic form. It's seeking a plasma bubble of soul freedom where the human heart is your engine. And that makes your aura spin faster and faster to connect and manifest. So there's quite a few people right now on the planet that are manifesting right now at rapid speeds because they are going into these higher sensories. And we're moving into that right now. Many people are starting to do it, and you can too, especially if you're here watching the show. You're already advanced if you're here.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'd love to hear a poem.
You want to hear my poem? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. As you were talking, I'm like, oh, great. I just can't wait.
Oh, okay. And I haven't read this one in public yet. I picked it for you. So one of my chapters is called Gods and Goddesses.
Hmm.
And I realized I am a muse on this planet. And I have had people tell me that after I realized it. I wrote this poem and someone goes, "You're a muse." I said, "I know, because I wrote this poem like 2 weeks ago." They saw it. And I've had people tell me, "You're Athena." They saw the aura or the vibrational. And it's funny because I'm either carrying her DNA, or I'm channeling her, or I'm her reincarnated. We're all connected to gods and goddesses somehow. Kings and queens, fairies, elves, gnomes, witches, warlocks. I'm getting the chills again. You all know what that means when you get the chills, right? Do y'all know
Sure.
what that means? It means like your angels on the other side are confirming what you're saying is true. And so I don't always get them, but when I do, I love to share it because I'm like, I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone with you. So anyhow, I'm going to read you my poem, The Muse. The world is changing fast. It's time to put everything in the past. Looking out to the world, I can see the planet is a whole new humanity. Things you might not have seen before come rushing right in the door. Do not become scared. Show the world you cared. All these invisible signs. Can anyone see mine? Will they get the message in time? I can see your aura and soul. This is how high frequencies roll. Angels are here from the sky. The entire universe is our pie. 3.14, so we say, numbers in our heads every day. So many mathematics in the air. Why can't everyone else see they are there? These are codes sent to us all. All you have to do is connect with your call. ABC 123, so many things touching me. Shapes and symbols make up the riddle. Animal totems coming to me. This is the perfect place to be. Snow White is what I feel. The universe is so surreal. Can you see the angels on earth? They are guiding you to your worth. Children of Zeus, I see you. I hope out there you see me too. Trying hard to be the muse, witnessing people put it to good use. We all touch each other in some way. We're all going to be okay. Follow me and I will lead you, for this is what I came to earth to do. I am the seeker, I am the speaker, sending out words of truth, flowing out of me in one poof. So much to share and tell. This is why they call me Noelle. Vibrations at a high frequency. Most people couldn't hear me. Now it's my time to soar and share with the world some more. We're all magic in the air. This is beautiful energy, I swear. Ups and downs we all go through. This is the journey of life for you. Everyone, get up and dance. You don't even have to have pants. Shake your booty and let it out. Jump up and down and shout. You are a bright, shiny star. The world can take you very far. Full of wisdom and creativity, now I let it out for the world to see. Letting go of friends in the past, they held me back as the outcast. Now I'm dancing to my own beat. I am the one they must defeat. All these storms make me stronger, just when I thought I couldn't take it a moment longer. Rise above what people say. You are better off alone anyway. Dust yourself and get up. You have to fill your own cup. Trusting yourself is what you do. The only person who knows best is you. Treat others well and don't fight. It's not about being right. If they can't understand what you do, the issue is with them, not you. Heal, love, and be kind. Unconditional love is what you'll find. Life is beautiful and oh so rare. The right people will notice and care. Sometimes we've had a bit too much. All we really need is a soft touch. Not going out to please, going within and release. You are magic and pure. That is exactly the elixir cure. Here comes words of poetry. There is so much more than you can see. I have exactly what you need. All you have to do is follow to succeed. Now is the time for ascension, moving into the next dimension.
Mm. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I work with a collective, and they were really encouraging me to have you to read that. And what I was seeing as you were reading that, the tonation of your voice is like going into the cells and giving it like this upspin to people. So, all right, guys, you have to go back and listen to that poem again and again anytime you need this little lift, because I could sure feel it. It was just kind of like moving through my body. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. I'm glad you received it like that.
Yeah, that was really cool. Okay, so tell me some more.
Okay, let's see. What else do I have tabbed here that's kind of fun? Do you guys want to hear some of the superpowers?
Absolutely.
This is kind of fun. There's villain superpowers and then there's the, superhero superpowers. I'll throw these out because you know what? It's so funny. I decided to look them all up. And, where I'm talking Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Batman, all these good, comic heroes that they say are, fake, supposedly. I'm like, we humans actually can do this. Superhuman strength, speed, durability, and stamina. We actually have all that when we are really vibrating high. We can regenerate. We have shockwave regeneration, gamma ray manipulation and emission, which is, through the body, anger empowerment, You know, when people get angry, you can use it for good or for evil, right? Rapid healing, time manipulation, creation of high-speed tornadoes and winds. This is all done energetically, invisibly, by the way. Ability to cling to solid surfaces and ceilings. You know, there's the rock climbing people out there. They can do these things, right? I'm not a rock climber, but that's their superpower, not mine. Genius level intellect. We know there's geniuses in the world. A master martial artist, hand-to-hand combat. Like these are things we're taught through karate. Our kids are doing karate, martial arts, right? So if we start them young, they're now mastering this. What I found for me was my DNA is being activated. I want to go ride horses. I want to go shoot bow and arrows. Like this is stuff from ancient times that are now being activated in our bodies that give us these abilities that we weren't really using before, right? Proficient engineer in science, supersonic flight. We are going to be able to fly. I know you guys, some of you probably realize that. If we're bending spoons, I've seen that and talked to, that group and hung out with them. So if we're doing some of these things, flying is just another part of it. Powered armor suit, superhuman senses, reflexes, balance, and coordination, expert gymnast or acrobat, vortex creations, decelerated aging. Have you noticed people are starting to look younger? Have you noticed that, everyone? Anyone?
Absolutely.
Dimensional travel. Let's see. Invisibility. Okay. Invisibility. Have you guys tried to do that? Have you tried any? You can just imagine yourself being invisible. I just did this the other day. I was at a frisbee. Yeah, I was at a frisbee golf course and I was meditating and I didn't want to be seen. So I basically was like, and people are coming up, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit here and pretend I'm invisible. They didn't say hello. They didn't acknowledge me, look at me, nod at me, nothing. I'm like, I am invisible. I'm part of this planet right now. Like they can't see me. So I'm talking like it's a frequency that you emit to put out.
Yeah.
Expert detective, which a lot of people are thanks to the internet these days, right? Okay, let's Olympic level archery skills, sign language, telepathic illusions, telepathic camouflage, mental senses, mind control, empathy. These are all superpowers. Let's go into villain superpowers. Criminal mastermind, energy projection, force fields, brilliant strategist and planner, advanced weaponry, high-tech war suits. I write about some high technology that is kind of, I wasn't sure I was going to put it in the book because it's a little bit on the dark side, but I was like, you know what? This is what's happening and I'm not going to hide it. So I do cover some actually weapons that are up and coming that are, because I'm kind of a futurist. Otherwise I wouldn't be talking about this. But
Okay.
so I wanted people to be aware of what to look out for and how to prepare. Let's see. Expert chemist. Okay. Villain is an expert chemist. We know what's been going on our planet the last few years, right? That's what's happening. Okay. So trained toxicologist and botanist, plants, medicines, right? Drugs. So trained psychiatrist. There's a lot happening. So that's kind of fun. And let's see what else I knew I wanted to share that was pretty good here. I look at my book. My book is literally tabbed because that's just okay. So I was actually going to read part of the playbook. This is the chapter I downloaded a bit. And so to me, the playbook is we've all come down here to have an experience. And the way I see it or was shown it is we're all from different parts of the galaxy and we all came down and sighted on the dotted line to integrate with other species to create a new human species. So we are you have to kind of be careful who you hang out with and who you procreate with. Otherwise, you might get something you didn't want. You got to be careful of the people you're friendly with. So this is basically the rules that we signed off on that I was told before we get down here. You will intermix and intertwine with other species from other planets, galaxies, granting unlimited knowledge, sharing capabilities due to what each species brings to the table. Your soul will be granted a human suit. You will cross DNA paths with other forms of species in order to create a new breed known as human beings. Human beings will become the ultimate champions in the universe with all species' superpowers combined in one. No two species will be alike. Each one of you has a special divine blueprint to bring down to earth to carry out to the best of your abilities. You each play a part with your energy by contributing to the earth's games with your life force energy. Will you let the rules, ideas, and concepts of other species rule you? If you care about what someone else thinks, you are their prisoner. Beware that there will be outside forces and inside voices trying to alter the game at any time. Look for and follow the clues. If you notice anybody acting out of line, they may not know they are playing a game, or they are trying to manipulate the game, or someone has hijacked their mental well-being. Preserve your energy for daily combat and contribution. Films will teach you segments of what is happening within the game. Games are teaching you strategies you will need to use during Earth games. Books are sharing knowledge and wisdom and serve as reference and documentation to refer to. Other beings will push your buttons. Let's see. Each of you will be on different levels of the game at the same time. Let's see. There is no such thing as death. It is just game over for you on Earth games. Let's see. You will be heroes of the universe. The rules of going to school, getting a job, and owning a home will be the basic survival skills taught. Earth games are a form of accelerated advanced learning on planet Earth. If granted to enter Earth games, you are entering the gifted human species programming. It is up to you to expand, conquer, learn, develop, grow, experience, and feel all emotions in its entirety from a limited point of view and perspective toward unlimited expansion. No one will suffer forever. I was happy to hear that one. You are in control of your destiny. So those are just, everything is only temporary. Everything is always changing. Be grateful for every level and test you pass. So there's times I go, okay, I'm leveling up. I don't know about you guys, but part of my ascension will be my body will go through a shift. It'll like start. I don't know about you all, but I'll have like sweating. I don't normally ever sweat when I was younger. I work out. But all of a sudden I'll start sweating. My chemistry in my body and my cellular level is changing. And I realize that I'm like, oh, I'm going to another level. I don't, to me, that's an ascension symptom.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people are having problems sleeping at times, or just functioning. And that's when you kind of just have to let the body be and regenerate. Sleeping is one of the best benefits. If you can't sleep, just lay down and put a meditation on and let the body just reprogram it through audio and visual as much as you can. Your soul is worth more than money. Human health trumps wealth. Write out your own life story. It will go down in history as a story in the New Earth Bible. That was something that was really important because you actually journal in my first book after every chapter and you have your own book about yourself. Your story is what makes up the next Bible. Our lessons that we've learned, our experiences. I see the Bible as multidimensional and a living document that is kind of moving. And there's so many perceptions to a story. You know, it's the person who's writing it, people who are in it, the people who are witnessing it. There's so many things happening. And we all have to kind of chew and digest it for ourselves. Not somebody can't tell us what the story is about. We have to kind of decipher it. That's
Mhm.
part of the fun. It's part of the game.
Absolutely. So many people talk about the physicality with this shift in the consciousness and the shift with Gaia. And so, in your perspective, do you see us as taking the body with us? Do you see us moving more into the light body? What are your perceptions?
Okay, that was going to be my next chapter I talked about. That was my
All
the whole
right.
chapter on Ascension. And it's funny because I remember asking this man who turned out I didn't know it at the time, but he was a master healer that had entered my life. And I said to him, I go, "Are we gonna turn see-through?" And he was like, "No." And so I was like, "Okay." And then it got me questioning more and wanting more. So let me just I have a whole book on Ascension, and I kinda just tabbed a couple places. It's a pretty long, chapter. Nothing I do is simple because there's so much data to convert. Let's see what huh. Hmm. In order to enter, humans must become just like the angels. The white robe is an energetic light robe. Star seeds are old souls here to help bring Earth into ascension. A star seed has a particular energy frequency signature. And this is why I always will read my books myself, just because the poetry, like you said, you felt it. I want it to be my frequency moving through your body. It was meant for that. I was given that information for me to relay it. There's a lot of software now that you can actually upload a document and they will convert it with an avatar with your voice and a face that looks like yours or a similar voice. It won't be your exact voice. You record your voice and then they put it up. That's why you can't believe everything that's online now.
Right.
So I could tell you the programs, but it doesn't even matter. There's content out there that is being manipulated to get you to believe things that aren't true. So I'm getting the chills again. Let's see. A starseed is a god or goddess who became human for a time and carries a very strong vibration. Starseeds radiate at 600 to 1000 hertz, which is peace and enlightenment. Low vibrating humans vibrate at 170 to 200 hertz, which is about carrying shame, guilt, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, and courage. So there's a book called Powers versus Force. And there's a map of the consciousness on there. I don't know if you've heard of this or seen this. And it breaks down the different levels of vibration based on feelings, emotion, and frequency. And there's this printout. I would make a copy of the book page and put it in my bathroom. And it has the different megahertzes and then the emotions attached to it. So when I was feeling a weird feeling or uncertain, I would go in there and I would look, what emotion am I feeling right now? And it would tell me what I was vibrating at. So this is how we're able to alter it. If you're aware of it and you are able to process it, and then you're like, okay, I'm not feeling good enough. I am going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go dance, or I'm going to go sing. You just go do something to lift yourself up and shift your frequency. So it's pivoting quickly. And we're all learning that now, or we're all able to do that more quickly as long as we're aware of it and we're talking about it and some of us are doing it together in groups. When people go and have, dance parties or even breath work together, they are moving the energy to a higher vibration. Uh, Jesus is a cosmic child claimed living with angels. Jesus is a celestial traveler. And I was kind of brought up in a pretty heavily family that was really into Catholicism on one side. Was with someone for a very long time who was really a hardcore Christian, and I had a relative who was into Scientology. So I have gone through many, and then I had friends who were like Buddhists and hung out with monks. So I have been exposed to a lot of different cultures. And some of the things that I'm sharing with you all, they would never want to believe because I talk about how Jesus is a left-handed healer because I'm ambidextrous and left-handed, and he was able to tap into these other realms, which made him have these capabilities, and people highly misunderstood it. So that's how I feel sometimes being able to do these things. People just go, "What? No." But if you could open and expand your mind and tap into both, you'll see that it's a real thing. Let's see. Waves of cosmic energy create a conduit to link heaven and earth. Bodies of light waves between heaven and earth, weaving time and eternity, moving from the material world into an immaterial world. So the rainbow light body means living in a state of perfect light for all of eternity. I have really become I say 3D is materialism. When you start to go into higher realms, you don't want stuff. You don't need stuff. It weighs you down. When you start to go into higher vibration, you are becoming light. You can't carry these things with you. You can't take them with you. So I truly believe we're going to go galactic. And I think it's actually already here. I can see other species walking among us, and some of you are multidimensional already to me. Some of you look like cats or lions, or I see multi things happening in your body through your aura and your frequency. And as you get into higher realms, that's what your capabilities are. It's funny because there's people I hadn't seen in a long time, and then I see them and I go, "Oh, I see what species you are," and they don't even know. And so that's our future. If you're all probably, I know, already talking about this, is what's your superpower and what ET species or type of species are you connected to? And these are from multiple lifetimes. You've either been a flower, or you've been a bee, or you've been a rock, or you've been a goddess or a mermaid. There's so many things we've already all been. And that's how some of the higher dimensions are being taught, because those people have done it so many times that now they're all like, okay, this is who you are. This is who I am. And I love you for it, you know? Let's see. So I talk about Close Encounters. Do you guys remember the film Close Encounters? Okay. So Close Encounters of the fifth kind is direct communication with ETs and humans, brought on by voluntary, proactive, human initiated conscious contact with ET intelligence, telepathy. So Sheila, you obviously have some connections. Tell me a little bit about that.
In what way?
You're connected to other beings. What ones are they?
Hmm. Well, within my collective, I'm operating right now primarily as Andromedan, but I'm connected with the Arcturians. I'm connected with the Palladians. I'm connected with the Mantis. I'm connected with really a plethora of other beings that have come together, and the consciousness has melded into one.
Yes, I can see that, especially the work you're doing, because she's interviewing all different types of species, right? She's sharing all of their knowledge with everyone and not favoring one over the other. I mean, even the dark species are here to teach us what they know, and we're here to elevate them. We need the light and dark. I know a lot of people are scared of it, but we have to have the duality to evolve, right?
Absolutely.
So let's see. Close encounters of the eighth or ninth kind is the voices of wisdom, interaction with angels, secrets of God revealed, ET translations raised to heaven and purified so humans can join the holy ones and enter into their company as the sons of heaven into Zion, the celestial city of Zion. So Celestial City descends from heaven and creates our new capital of 12 gates, 12 chakras, and 12 tribes. So I was kept hearing 12th dimension. In fact, on my first book, Superpowers, I created the jewelry. It's the 12th chakra, I was told, that matches my cover. And the 12th chakra is unity. And I was literally tapping into that high dimension of the 12th dimension to get this information. And it's funny because I'll tell you, it didn't all come at once. I got the book cover created. I had, you pick a few to look at. It hit me it was just like a shockwave through my body. I'm like, that's the one. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to get jewelry made. And then I did that. And then I was told later, about a year later, that's when it was the 12th chakra. And it was, so it did not come at once. We're not able to comprehend the data quickly. It's in stages, so you can slow it down and process it, because there's so much, or we would go mad. So ascension is requiring a change in being who you are. You're basically going to become a new you, a new human, a better version of you. And there's going to be people on lower levels that are going to try and keep you down, but you're going to have to choose yourself. You might let them go. You might remove them out of your life, and that's okay. They'll eventually come your way again when they're ready. It's almost like nails on the chalkboard. When your frequency gets so high, you end up almost by yourself more, because not everyone can come to that level. So just bear that in mind, and don't be upset with friends and family because they're not receiving what you're going through. Just give them the space. Everybody needs the space to go through it and heal. It's just part of the process. I read somewhere there was 126 levels. Somebody that I knew who was also studying Ascension and sharing it had written 126 levels. So just bear that in mind. When you think you're done, you might not be.
Well, and if you also think about each of the dimensions, each of the 12 dimensions having 12 subdimensions, and as you continue to go down, eventually you get the number 144, which a lot of people, are talking about now as well.
Yeah, I have a little section on 144,000. Yes,
Mhm.
on here as well. I talk about that. It's so when you've had religion shoved down your throat since you were a kid, it kind of turns you off. I'm going to say the truth
Right.
for me. And as I went through this, I started to study it on my own free will, through free will. And I actually do the 10 commandments. I rewrite them in my book for what they mean for me. And I tell you all, go look at them again and rewrite them for what is true for you. Because that way you're creating your own system and your own beliefs. It's not just because it's written there, but I converted it using actually synonyms. I would Google the word synonym for God, and then I would switch it out to universe. So I would change it up. I was like, oh, this actually makes more sense to me. And because God sometimes has been beaten down to people, right? You're like forced and some people don't feel good about it. But if you change it to source or universe or something, then you're like, wow, that's powerful. That's beautiful. Now I want to connect to that energy, right? So it's shifting your mindset to move into that frequency of love. So yeah, our bodies and cells are changing, and it feels so good some days. I don't know about you all, but there's moments I just am like, wow, I'm super elated to be here. And then there's moments of why is this happening, right? Um, we're all going through a huge transformation, and it's giving grace to everyone else at whatever level they are. And part of the games is being humble, being empathetic, having compassion. This is all what we're supposed to learn and give to each other and yourself, especially. Forgive yourself. I tell myself all the time, especially when I'm feeling a little um wanting, I'll tell myself I love you, Noelle, all the time, out loud. I'll say it out loud. Because you can never hear I love you enough. You can never say it enough, let alone to yourself. And it gives you permission to feel okay with who you are and be who you are. Because that we're supposed to be able to have that. But people always would think you're stuck up or you're narcissist or you're full of yourself. But it's not that now. It's about self love, self care, so you can give it to others. Fill your own
Right.
cup up.
And isn't it interesting that as all of these waves are washing through everyone, people respond differently. Some people feel like they have to have very light meals consisting of, fresh vegetables and fruits. Some people feel like they need the groundedness. Other people are like, oh my God, I've never craved sugar like I'm craving it now. But everybody's body is responding so differently to these shifts and changes. So I'm really glad that you brought that up because there's not one size fits all as we go through this. So if you feel like, man, I've blown it, I'm eating crap, well, there might be a reason for that.
Yeah. And actually, I write about some of the food in the Ascension chapter about not eating meat. We're not supposed to be eating meat because the animals are full of fear. They know they're going to be slaughtered. They're literally sitting there knowing what's coming, and it's like a vibration that they're in, and then they kill them, and then we eat it and put it in our bodies. And we're really not supposed to be killing things to eat it. Nature's one thing, the fruits, the vegetables, it is literally getting light codes from the sun, which we say is, you understand, is God. So when you consume the food of the fruits and vegetables, you are consuming those light codes of God, and that's where you're able to connect.
Hmm. Beautiful. Thank you.
Hmm.
Gosh, I can't believe the time. Let me see. Do we have any questions from anyone in the audience? Does anyone have any questions? Because if not, I got a couple more for you.
Yeah, actually, I have a question. I want to know, have you ever experienced any Like, do you wear a smartwatch or a Fitbit or anything like that?
Okay,
Okay.
I'm getting the chills again.
Well, because the question was going to be, have you ever noticed where there's a time lapse while you're sleeping? Or like I have a sleep apnea machine and I wear a Fitbit at night.
Okay.
I have time lapses where there's time missing from both devices.
That's
Yeah. So
interesting.
they're fun experiences. I was just curious if you've ever experienced that.
Maybe you're timeline jumping, which you can easily do these days, by the way. I have a whole chapter in my first book on superpowers that I talk about 5G, and I turn every stinking device off. My phone, I got rid of my smartwatch, sold it. I unplug my Wi-Fi every night. I turn everything off. Why? Because all of that is going right through the cells and it's altering, it's like affecting your central nervous system. And it's messing up how we receive messages and our instincts. So when you're that's why I actually had on my website all these devices I have a Wi-Fi cover. I have a special cover for my phone, like a Faraday bag that I put over my phone. And when I hold my phone, I literally do it like that. I have tape over my the camera because they are using neuromarketing to use like look at your eyes, your aura, your facial expressions to market to you. And I'm like, it's none of your damn business. And I try to control that content as best as I can because it is programming our subconscious and unconscious minds. Even when we're sleeping, so many people sleep with their phones by the bed. That is an absolute no. And I've seen people have the Wi-Fi right on the nightstand. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? You are just blasting your brain with poison. So, just look at it differently. Just look at it differently. Please get those devices out of your kids' hands. Play games with them, interact with them. I just saw my daughter recently and she watched another podcast I was on and I talked about playing chess. And we hadn't played chess in a while. And she's like, Mom, you want to play some chess? I said, yeah. And she had improved so much in her strategy since we'd played last. And I was like, wow, you've really upped your game. And she was so proud of herself. And that made me realize she was thinking differently and strategizing differently. So when we do these one-on-one, even like blackjack, I know people are like, oh, you're teaching her, casino games. I'm like, yeah, but you're teaching her numbers, codes, information, a lot of ways to process. And it's funny, I tell her, I go, don't tell anybody you know these games. Just act like you're a not, you're kind of a newbie to it and then just wipe them out. So yeah. So have fun with it. Like this is the game of Earth is a fun game. And we're not, we get so stressed about it. I try and step back now and just go, okay, what's the lesson? How do I like re-navigate or re-manipulate it to work into a better, scenario?
Awesome. 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 Well, let me ask you a question. And this is just more on a, personal level, because you do have so many phenomenal things that's going on. You've got both your books, you've got your movies, you've got all kinds of things happening. You've got these great kids. But I wanted to ask you, for you, with all this stuff happening, what do you feel right now is really just feeding your soul and giving you that mojo to go day in and day out?
Wow. Well, right now we're having an explosion of creativity on the planet. And
Mhm.
that means people are tapping into their souls and their selves. It's making them come alive again. And that's what I kind of was doing. The film I just released is called Luminary, and it's about the soul and reincarnation. I had made it 10 years ago, and I'd never shown it to anyone. It was kind of in this vault. And it has children in it who are now 10 years older, their families, the parents, all these families that were not awakened, that I still were. I was told to release it on 8 at 8 a.m. So that's what I did. And it was like and it's all told through song, no words, because that's how the soul is. That's how telepathy is. It's through an energy. And it was to help waken all those people that I knew 10 years ago that I probably haven't seen or talked to, and to remind them to consider this as a what I'm teaching now and what I'm sharing, because they didn't know. I guess I was doing this 10 years ago, not realizing it, because Luminary is what I ended up calling my center, Luminary Healing Center. And then I interviewed other luminaries. I've worked in the film industry doing film festival, press and media, because I wanted to be around creatives. I wanted to learn what they were doing and how they were doing things. So I just put myself around them. I didn't even get paid to do it. I just went and did it and be like, can I get a press pass? And can I come and hang out with you? And then I met people around the world. Yeah, so I just started putting myself in scenarios, and then my creativity would go crazy. I would get around these creatives, and then that week I was just blowing up. And I was like, this is so amazing. When whoever you hang out with, they become you, you become them. And so we'd go to these film festivals for a week. Every year it was a different vibe. They showed different films. And so there were documentaries, there were shorts, there were famous people sometimes. And it was just such a beautiful event. I would literally go in, live it, watch the shows, hang out with these people. I ended up jumping on the red carpet, interviewing them. Impromptu. This was 2014 as well. This is before we had live stream, and I would go and edit it and create it, back then. So I've been doing it a long time, and it's just fun to
Yeah.
now see it all coming to fruition as more and more people like Sheila is bringing their knowledge, and we're here to teach people what we know and share, and that's how we all grow and evolve. We're each other's students and teachers. So it's
Mhm.
pretty beautiful.
Mhm. And so, for people who would like to watch the film, or for people who would like to purchase your books or just check out your work, can you share with them your
Yeah.
website and how they can get a hold of you?
Yes, it's just my name, Noelle Hipke, NOELLEHIPKE.com. I do my website, I do my email campaigns, I've done everything myself. Sheila's like, my team, did they send you this? I'm like, no. What's a team? I'm used to doing. I've done it all, but I've learned so much by doing it all. That's when I get excited, because I'm like, if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to figure it out, and then I grow more. And this is the thing I want you to all understand about AI. All this stuff is cutting out the learning process of evolving and growing. So this is why I'm like, I poo-poo AI in certain ways, because I realized if I went through this shortcut, I wouldn't evolve and grow at super accelerated, expanded capabilities. So I encourage you to reevaluate how you run your life. Just getting out in nature, disconnecting, that's really where the beautiful information comes in. It's all right within you.
Beautiful. And do you have any final words that you would like to leave people with?
Hmm. It's so funny, because when I would do because I've interviewed a few people too, and sometimes I would ask these questions too. And I would say, um, I'm not going to just jump to an answer. I want to hear what they're going to have me share. Hmm. I'm hearing focus on you. The fastest way to ascension is to focus on yourself. And if you journal, you're going to accelerate faster. You will have your own book if you want to publish it, or you can keep it for your family. You do journal after every chapter in my first book, Superpowers, and you will elevate and learn as you do it. So keep evolving, keep growing, keep expanding, and allowing and honoring other people for their process. And honoring the earth. Like, this is another thing. Mother Earth has been so abused. I feel like once we start to kiss our planet and each other more in a way, like, appreciate it, thank them. There's things I'm doing now I never used to do. I even like now pray before I eat my food. And I'll put my hands above it, and I'll be like, thank you for healing my body and taking good care of me and helping me get the messages I need to receive from this food. So it's things that you might not have done in the past, you might find yourself doing. When you look in the mirror, you can tell yourself, I love you. It's okay to do these things. It's good for you. No one has to see or know. Doesn't matter. I talk to myself all the time because you're your own best friend. So there's a few for you. How's that?
That's awesome. I thank you so much. And it was so fun to have you on. I'll have to have you back. I loved all the superpowers. I was like, oh, I want to ask her this and this and this and this. And then, of course, we had to go to something else. But thank you so much. It's been delightful to have you on. So I want people to remember to please reach out to Noelle, get her books, read all about all the magical stuff that she has going on. And
I
so,
did also want to tell you, I did create a course. That was something else that,
okay.
okay. And I think you might even have courses. Don't you have it on your site as well? Do you have courses on your site?
Well, we did. Yes, we did.
Okay.
We have moved most of that over to the on-demand section of our website.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're in the process of, doing some really big changes on our site. So,
Okay. Cause then maybe I'll bring it over. I have it actually on Udemy, which I don't know if you all know what Udemy is. Udemy is like a UK professional course. It's where all like the teachers from around the world go. And I go, there's probably no content like this on there, but I'm like, I'm going to be the first. I'm going to make this like mainstream.
that's awesome.
So, and then it's on my website and it's Superpowers Activations. It's building your own human instruction manual. So this is something I wanted to teach the children and the parents. If we knew what our kids were like genetically good at, wouldn't you just want to direct them straight to it versus saying, you're going to try everything that you suck at first, but why don't we tap into all the things you're good at as well? So it just kind of helps pull that together. So anyway, it's kind of fun, I think.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you again so much, Noelle. So, all right, everyone, you've been listening to Noelle Hipke right here on Cosmic Conversations on the Conscious Awakening Network. So thank you so much for being with us. Sending you much love and light. Thanks for all those watching us on the replay, all the people watching us live, wherever you are, the ones that are listening to us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, love you, love you. And until we are back together again, namaste and have a beautiful week, everyone. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.